Hi, my name is Georgia, and today I will be making fresh pasta. I have a special guest with me, Ella.
Hi.
The ingredients you will need are eggs, flour, and the materials you will need are
Bench cutters. I forgot this is called.
Now we are going to crack our eggs, and we're using 3 eggs for 1 pound of pasta. We found that 2/3 cup of flour is a good amount for 1 egg.
Once you crack your eggs in the bowl, you should whisk them with a fork.
And right now I'm going to be measuring out my 2 cups of flour. And I'm putting it onto this baking sheet here. But if you don't have a baking sheet, you can also just use like your counter. It's just harder to clean up. Now I'm going to be forming a well with our flour so we can pour our eggs into it.
And it's okay if it leaks out a little bit.
I'm going to start forming the dough with my hands, and then once it starts getting more doughy-ish, I'm going to use the bench scraper. And you can put your hands in here. This is making a big mess, and I think it's better off to just start with the bench scraper and end with the bench scraper because it's very hard to clean off your hands. The dough was so sticky that we had to pause with our hands and start doing the bench scraper, but I think we can go back to using our hands because it's not as sticky anymore.
If it gets too sticky, you can add a little bit of flour.
Ours is very sticky right now. It's still sticking to my hands. Right now we're just kneading our dough. Later on we might need to add some more flour because if you try to add your pasta into your pasta machine when it's too sticky, it'll come out and curl and it'll get stuck in the machine. And you don't want that to happen because it's happened to me before and it's very frustrating. Right now I'm just like stretching it around because I want all this extra flour on it to get distributed, but then there's still some parts that are still very sticky that need even more flour, I think. I'm gonna move it to the counter now because it's not as messy and it's just much easier to work with if it's down low and close to you. So
now we are going to cut up our dough into 2 pieces and wrap it up so it can rest.
We've set up our pasta machine to clamp onto the counter. Our dough has been resting. Now we're going to roll it out to fit the machine. And I actually borrowed this machine from Ella. Before you're going to roll this dough out, you're going to want to cut it into 3 pieces. You can use your bench scraper or a knife. I prefer a knife when cutting pasta dough. but earlier in the video I used bench scraper. Now I'm gonna roll out my dough to fit the machine. You don't want your dough to be too dry or too sticky. You just want it to be, well, not sticky when you touch it. Like if you touch it and there's dough on your finger, you don't want that. But also if you touch it and there's no dough on your finger, but it sort of springs up on your finger, like in strings, you don't want that either. So you have to add more flour if that happens. Well, there's different numbers. You can see that there's this thing to spin it. That's because there's different settings. So you want to start by rolling out in the thickest setting. That's usually number 1, but sometimes it's the highest number. This one, the last number is 6, but we only want it to go to the second thickest setting because on this one, for this dough, it will make holes in it. Now I'm going to re-roll this. Oh, and also I have done this thing where I fold it in and then I fold it over and then I add some more flour, and because that, I don't know what it does, but it makes it better.
It's also good to have 2 people because you have to roll it and then someone has to catch it when it comes out.
One more thing is that I roll the pasta 2 or 3 times through each setting, so it just makes it, like if it didn't make it as thin as it could make it on that setting, I just make it 1 extra layer just in case. On this pasta machine, it has cutters, a very thin one and a thicker one. But if you don't, you can just roll it up, your pasta, and cut it into strips and unroll it, and then you'll have very nice pasta. But this one, it's just much easier to do and much quicker. And I feel that it makes it more even. And for this step, I'm actually this pasta machine comes with a tray that you attach right here, and it will hold it. And so I'm going to attach it right now. Well, you can crank it.
When you put your pasta onto the tray, you should cover it up with a wet towel so it doesn't dry up so much.
We are going to put this uncovered into the freezer, and we'll just let that sit there until we want to make pasta. This will be cooked for 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how thick it is and how soft you want your pasta to be. But if you're going to use it the next day or the day that you make your fresh pasta, you can keep it in the fridge just for a little while. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Ella, for coming.